Hello, everybody. It's me, Roscoe, and welcome to the latest episode of the Kings of Anglia Fan Social, the show where the KOA Army share their thoughts on all things town. And we're back with another live show on a Wednesday night. If you're listening after the show, make sure to join us every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. And Paul, who has made a comment very early doors, have I got the right time? Yes, you do, Paul. We're just a bit late because we're just adjusting different things. But we're here live to discuss town after the international break, which is finally over. Boys, I'm here with two fine gentlemen, Darren and Ben Diaf, to discuss all things town. So let's start with you, Dazza, my friend. Always good to see you. You were speaking sort of off record and also messages. You know, international break is boring because there's no Ipswich Town football, but you're an American football man. Who's your team and how's things?
Good evening, Ross. I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan for completely spurious reasons. In all honesty, that's at the moment a bit like a continuation of watching Ipswich. Managed to contrive to lose our first game of the season. Not really sure how I feel at the moment. So, the less said about that, the better. You want to escape the football because you're not sure about how Ipswich are doing, and then you just get another load of hassle. So.
Definitely, my friend. Yeah, it's just one of those things. You pick a team and you try to hope they do well. And we've been okay for Ipswich 2 seasons ago and all that jazz. We're going to be getting everyone else in the comments. Share your thoughts, share your feelings going into the next batch of games. We're going to predict the September fixtures, and we've got some big questions as well. But let's bring in good old Ben Diaf, who's got a special guest sitting next to him as well. So shout out to Wenny, who is joining him. His dog, by the way. But Ben, how's things?
Yeah, very well, thank you, Ross. We're just talking in the green room about my various home improvements. So, I've got basically the back end of the house behind me is non-existent anymore. So we've got an extension going on. So we're just the whole house has gone into one room in the front of our house. And with a 2-year-old running around, it's been a very interesting few weeks and challenging for Ipswich and challenging for me at home. So it's been, we're hoping for better times on and off the pitch.
Indeed. Good evening, Callum. Good evening, Paul. So glad that international break is over. Indeed, Paul, because they are just dull and boring. We've got another one in October to look forward to. Luckily we've got 5 games to look forward to before that next international break. But what we're going to do is we are going to predict the next 4 games in September because the 5th game before the international break is the East Anglian Derby. And I think let's just do predictions for that nearer the time because we need to get through these games first of all. And Ben's life score predictions for Friday night. We're going to do that because we are going to start with Sheffield United, which is this Friday night at Portman Road. But with their current Sheffield United are in a false position, but with their current manager, I reckon we'll win this 3-1. So I'm going to bring up the games, and these are the September games. Sheffield United at home, as mentioned. Blackburn Rovers away. Portsmouth at home, the Connor Chaplin derby. Obviously, won't be able to play that game, which is I'm still trying to get my head around that Connor Chaplin is not here anymore. Like, he's still alive, obviously, and he is a contracted at Ipswich Town, but he's gone on loan to Portsmouth. But that'll be an interesting sort of game. Obviously, won't be able to play in that one. And then Bristol City away on a Tuesday night. Or was it Wednesday night? Anyway, it's midweek. Boys, Darren, let's start with this Sheffield United game. They are a team that are struggling at the moment. They are bottom of the table with 4 games in, and they've lost all 4. Obviously, appointed a new manager this summer, Ruben Selles. What's your thoughts on this one? Because this was sort of, picked for Sky on a Friday night because they probably thought it's going to be 2 teams who are won all their games and, the promotion rivals, but it's the battle of the winless sides.
Yeah, it's trying not to be negative about this. we know what we're like on Sky, or certainly have been historically. Really, this should be a great opportunity to get off the mark. It's one of those things that, as has been already mentioned, Sheffield United surely are in a false position. Surely that's not going to carry on. Which is one of the reasons that I feel we underestimate them at our peril in this one. If we just have the attitude of, they're bottom of the table, that, this is a home game, we'll win this one, I feel we're setting ourselves up for a fall in that case. Very much feel that we should be winning this Would I be surprised if it ends up being another annoying draw? Just with the way that the season started, it could well be. But yeah, it's a difficult one to call at the moment.
Yeah, Ben, just get your thoughts on that, and then I'm going to ask your predictions. But yeah, Sheffield United's. I think if they were playing with Chris Wilder in charge, I would be worried. But obviously, Ruben said he likes to play a bit of football, so it will be a sort of good footballing sides taking on each other. But yeah, you thought Sheffield United on your show. Didn't you go to uni in Sheffield? So you got a nice little connection there.
Yeah, I did. Good memory, Ross. Went to university in Sheffield. Do love going up there. I've got one of my best friends still lives up there with his family. So yeah, fantastic city. Two, fantastic football clubs in their own right. Obviously not having the best of times at the moment, and I hope that will continue at Portman Road on Friday for the Blades. What am I thinking in terms of the match? I feel what Darren's saying in terms of I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw, but that's a boring answer. I think the first goal will be absolutely vital. Both teams are going to want to get a fast start and try and feel comfortable in their surroundings. Portman Road hasn't been a happy hunting ground for us for the last 12 months, but I do see that changing. I'm backing us to win this one, Ross.
Oh, I like that score then.
I think we'll win. I'm going 3-1.
Ooh.
3-1. Yeah. I think we'll get an early goal, settle into it, 2-0 up. I think Sheffield United will get one back and then on the break win towards the end 3-1.
Ooh, 3-1. And Ben, fellow Ben, went 3-1 as well. So there we go, like that. And yeah, Ruben Sellers is in trouble. I think if he loses that and it's a bad performance, I think he's gone. That's what Sheffield United fans are sort of saying. Chris Flashy McMulvaney. Sorry, Chris, completely butchered your name. He's gone for a 2-1 Town win. And yeah, Chris, can't understand why we let Chappers go, but which definitely now with somebody's Smollett's injury doesn't look good. Dazzo, so you're going for a draw. Did you say a prediction? Because I was obviously just trying to look at something as well, so I was listening, but yeah,
I didn't quite get that far. Someone asked me this earlier today, and I said 1-1, which I shouldn't really say because, to be honest, I really want this to be. I'm going to say 2-1 on here. 2-1 Town. Probably, take a lead, get frustrated, and end up getting pegged back, and then get a winner sort of midway through the second half or something, and have one of those nervy sort of last 15-minute jobs. But yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. Well, don't worry. Paul is gone. Paul Clark here. 2-1 with a last-minute goal for us, which on a Friday night, I don't really want that. Definitely for our deadlines with the paper, we always don't like late winners because you have to rewrite everything. But that's still great fun, though, isn't it? Just seeing a late winner go in. I think you'd rather that. Or, I don't know, that's a quick answer. A question for you guys. Question for you guys. Late winner or like a 4-0 win? What do you prefer?
I mean, in this context, where we are in the season, I'd definitely prefer a 4-0 win. As much as you get that fantastic buzz from a last-minute winner, I just think if we could win a game and it is a big game for us, big game for both sides, live on Sky as well. I think a lot of people will be desperate for football to be back. So a lot of neutrals probably watching it after being starved of domestic football for 2 weeks. So yeah, I think a 4-0 victory would be the perfect fillip for McKenna and his men to move on to the Blackburn game.
Yourself, Dazza?
Yeah, no, second that. I mean, the last minute stuff is great. When you really, mind immediately goes back to Southampton at home a couple of seasons ago, of course. But I think the circumstances we're in at the minute, you just want something to give confidence. And last minute winners are not really about confidence; they're more about relief. So I'd rather we got something conclusive in these circumstances, definitely.
And yeah, Paul's gone 4-0. Win any day. Callum's gone late winner for feeling after the game. 4-0 win for the feeling during the game. Yeah, true. Because everyone's happy when you're like 4-0 up and easy and all that jazz. It's sort of chanted. Paul Clark went. I think a last minute win would be very us at the moment. Very true. Liam from Crew. I'm not there, so guaranteed a win, right? Which was true against Derby because you weren't there, and we were like, if we beat Derby, you're banned. But because we didn't beat Derby, it's sort of like that's sort of gone away now, Liam, but we shall see. Chris also went 4-0 win, definitely, but need to start scoring. We do indeed. And that was another comment I saw up here quickly, and that was from Chris again. Hurst needs to start scoring, which we'll get onto later. So we've gone for 3 points on the board. So 12 points are up for grabs in these September games, boys. And then obviously there's a trip to Lancashire once again, Blackburn. And obviously, last time we went to Lancashire, we lost against Preston in a terrible game. Dazza, what do you reckon, my friend, going up to Blackburn Rovers?
Yeah, well, I'm going to this one, so straight off the bat, we've got problems. I did Blackburn, what was it, 10 years ago when Mick was in charge, and we lost there. And I think, if I remember rightly, our record there is really not great. So, I mean, as much as Blackburn haven't exactly started well, it wouldn't surprise me if this one didn't go our way. So I really, I would love to say we're going to go there and Sammy Smodic scores against his old club and all this kind of thing. But yeah, my confidence isn't quite there at the moment about this one, if I'm honest.
Oh, okay. I'm going to stick with you just quickly. Score prediction on the hat. Would you just take a point now?
Would I take a point now? Yeah. If that's not being too Mick McCarthy about it, yeah. Because I kind of feel like this might be a bit of an annoying 2-1 defeat or something.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. It's fine. Do not worry about that. Paul Clark's gone. I think a 1-1 at Blackburn. Harvey, Sweet Ass Prince. Evening, fellas. He was obviously on last week's Fan Social. Good to see you now as a viewer. But Ben, your prediction, my friend.
I think if we beat Sheffield United, then we obviously move to Ewood Park with plenty of confidence. I think our defence hasn't been too much of a problem this year. I know a couple of stopping goals with Derby, but overall, I think if you believe in all these sort of things, that our XG conceded is very low, and overall we are performing quite well at the back, and we should be getting more and more solid in that respect. With, as you know, some very good individual players that we've got. I think we'll win at Blackburn. I think if we're winning against Sheffield United, then I've got to stick to my guns and say we'll win at Blackburn. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Town win.
Oh, so 6 points on the board for Ben, 3 points, unfortunately, Dazza so far. Callum, I think this is reference to this game. 106-minute penalty because obviously 90 plus 16 penalty anyone. Well, if that happens again, then fair enough. But yeah, I actually haven't done my predictions, have I yet? I want to get involved. I've gone on the pod. I went 2-0 against Sheffield United, which is a bit of a brave prediction. But I want a clean sheet and I want to win at home. So there we go. Blackburn, I will admit I'll take a point before we even got off the bus, as Mick McCarthy used to say. I'll take a point. I'll go 1-1. I'll take that any day of the week. Chris went, I think Ipswich will beat Blackburn 2-0, which is very, very confident. Like that. But yeah, so far, I've gone 4 points. Ben's gone 6. So back-to-back wins, which I don't know when the last time we've done that. And Dazza has gone for 3 points so far. But are we going to turn it around, Dazza, against Portsmouth? A team that won't have Conor Chaplin in a team, thank God. But yeah, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, of the group, this is the one I'd be most hopeful, confident about. I think, yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like I didn't follow Portsmouth much how they were doing last season, so I don't exactly know what threat they're going to offer. But I just kind of feel like of the games that are looking at them on paper, you just feel like this should be manageable. If we've got some momentum going, maybe if we've got that first win on the board against Sheffield United, then hopefully Portman Road feels a bit different. And I think this one a Saturday afternoon because we've not got many, have we? So it'd be nice if that's a proper sort of Saturday afternoon, good day out of Portman Road and get a comfortable sort of win there, hopefully.
Ooh. Score?
I'm gonna go. We've really got to get a clean sheet at some point. So I given that I've not predicted up to now, I'll say that's the clean sheet, and I'll go 2-0 without.
2-0 like that. And yeah, Portsmouth start the season so far. They've had obviously a better start than us, but at that point, they've obviously got the derby this weekend against Southampton. Then they host Sheffield Wednesday at home, and then of course got us. So be interested to see what they get in those 2 games. But so far, after 4 games, 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. And I think annoyingly that defeat was against Norwich at Fratton Park. So yeah, Ben obviously got Andre Lascelles in their ranks. Colby Bishop, so don't say that too loudly because Harvey Davis will be going, oh my God, what about Colby Bishop? But yeah, your thoughts on this game?
Again, sticking to my theory of we're on a roll at this point in this fantastic utopia that I'm just painting for all Ipswich Town fans out there. We're going to be 3 wins on the bounce, Ross. It's going to be another clean sheet. It's going to be a 3-0 home win against Pompey. Again, I'm just trying to manifest it. I'm trying to be positive. we've had a difficult start to the season. I think realistically, we probably won't see the best of the side till November time. But I just think with the way these fixtures have fallen, these 3 in a row, well, obviously I'm confident because I've just predicted 3 wins. So we're going 3-1, 2-0, 3-0.
Oh, I like that. And yeah, Paul and Chris are also positive and confident. 2-0 against Portsmouth, and Chris has gone 3-1 against Portsmouth as well. And obviously at Portman Road, that is going to be back-to-back home wins. And I want to go for another win actually at home. And yeah, maybe a goal fest. Although Portsmouth don't concede too many goals, so they'll be hard to maybe break down. Josh Messinio, not a bad manager. Has done pretty well at Portsmouth, getting him promoted and obviously keeping him up last year. I want to go 2-1. I think Portsmouth will get a goal, and we'll get some good goals as well. And yeah, I think that'll be pretty good. So points total. So Ben's gone 9 points. I've gone 7. Darren's gone 6. And then the end of the month, boys, is a trip to Bristol City, Ashton Gate, on a Tuesday night under the lights. Bristol City, of course, got to the playoff semi-finals last year, got battered by Sheffield United in those games. But yeah, Dazza, they're an interesting team. Of course, they haven't got Liam Manning in charge anymore. They've got a German in charge who previously was at Barnsley, I think. And yeah, they've started their season. Let me quickly have a look at the table quickly as I speak.
Top 6, aren't
they? Unbeaten. Yeah, unbeaten so far. 2 wins, 2 draws, but obviously when we play them, they're going to have some battles. So they got Sheffield Wednesday away, Bristol City, they are Bristol City, Oxford United at home, and then Preston away. So 3 sort of tough games, and 2 long trips for them really, with Sheffield Wednesday and Preston, and then obviously they host us at their place. So what do you reckon?
Yeah, for me, this is the hardest one on paper of those 4. I think thinking back to when we played there last, I think it was a 1-0 win on a Tuesday night, wasn't it? If memory serves me rightly. I'm not so confident on this occasion, but I think by this point, hopefully, if we have got a win against Sheffield United, we've got a win against Portsmouth, we're starting to find our feet a bit, and I would like to think we can be competitive. It's probably a difficult game, and I think it's one of those that if you going there on a Tuesday night, you are probably okay with a point. So I'm going to jump in there and say 1-1 on that one.
Oh, yeah, because obviously during the promotion-winning season, it was Nathan Broadhead's goal that won us that game under lights, and yeah, that was just a good result in the end. Chris is gone. Desmond has gone for 2-2, so goals down at Ashton Gate. Obviously, it's the Mark Ashton derby as well, Ben, if you want to call it that. But yeah, your thoughts on this one? No, that's fine. No. But you're going to make it 4 wins in a row?
No, I'm not. Sorry, viewers. But I am going to go. I think it was Chris who just said that. I was thinking there will be goals. I think Bristol City are looking like a really attacking outfit this season. Look really exciting, particularly at home. So I've gone for 2-2 as well. I don't care which way it happens. It'd be great maybe if we could get that last minute, goal like we were saying is often so exciting. But I think a point away at Ashton Gate would be a very good point, particularly bearing in mind the start they've had. I don't see them sort of collapsing at all. I think they'll be very much in the playoff picture this year. So yeah, 2-2 is my prediction for Bristol City away.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, they obviously beat Hull before the international break 4-2 at home. Then they obviously beat Sheffield United at Bramwell Lane 4-1 the opening day. They drew 0-0 with Charlton, 1-1 with Derby, and obviously in the cups, it doesn't matter. They beat MK Dons in the first round, then got knocked out 2-0 by Fulham. And Paul's gone 0-0, which I don't know. When I saw that, I was like, I think that could happen. I think it could go either way. Go goals, or it could be a goalless draw. Yeah, I think it could be a draw, unfortunately. I may not go Desmond, but maybe go 1-1. But it could be late drama potentially. I like late drama. So yeah, 1-1, but potential, late drama. But once again, you just don't know how the dominoes will sort of fall in those 3 previous games. Against Sheffield United, Blackburn, and Portsmouth. But boys, we do hope they can get some good results against those teams. So yeah. So what's the points totals then? So Ben, you've gone unbeaten month, which is good. What is the maths? 10 points from you. Love that. Double figures. Darren, you've gone, remind me, 7.
7, yeah.
Good. And I've gone, how many have I gone? So I went 3. So I go Blackburn draw for 7. I've gone 8 points, but unbeaten, which is good. So it's just a Blackburn game that Daz is thinking, trips to Lancashire normally end in defeat. But yeah,
I've just gotten too used to talking to you after we've lost in the last year, Ross. So that's
true. I'm trying to think, have we ever spoke after a win? We might
last season. Yeah. Bournemouth was the last one.
Yes, true, very true. That was a shock win down the south coast. But yeah, Chris went 10 points from me too. So Ben and Chris on the same wavelength there, indeed. Stephen's now just joining us, I assume. We will beat Sheffield United 2-1, which will be a very good scoreline indeed, and winning at Portman Road, which is a nice segue, boys, onto the big question for the podcast this week. I'm going to have to make a jingle. Big question, or something. Get someone who's got a really deep voice to do like a big question jingle. But yeah, it's been very interesting at Portman Road, hasn't it? The last, in 2025, we've not won a league game, and it's getting a bit worrying every time I go to Portman Road. I don't know. The atmosphere just feels a bit different. I think everyone's just, I don't know. They're excited to be there and everything. Definitely when it comes to the summer, but. Yeah, last time we won there in the league game was the Chelsea game under lights. So this could be, a bit of an omen maybe because under lights on Sky. But then we've had games under lights at Sky since then and we've still not won. But Dazza, where are you feeling with it all? Because I know you're not based in Suffolk, but you come to games when you can. But what's your feelings behind the sort of the bad run at home? It's not good. Hopefully we can end that hoodoo soon. But what's your feelings behind it all?
For me, I've only managed to get to a couple of home games last season, which was probably just as well, to be honest, because I live in the Midlands, so and I'm not a season ticket holder. I was there for the Derby game before the break, which was one of them days, wasn't it? It's a strange one. I mean, it's one of those that certainly it really hurt us last year that we just could not get anything going at home. I don't think it helped that, we obviously started with the hardest possible game we could have had at home last season and didn't get a chance to get any sort of momentum from the beginning. When you look at, I can't help looking at Sunderland and thinking, if we'd had a game more like they did as their first game, that maybe we could have got something going at the beginning of last season. And it's kind of just rumbled on, hasn't it? It's lost. Portman Road's lost that invincibility that it kind of felt like we had for that couple of years. It's difficult to say why. I feel like looking back at when we were in League One and going up into the Championship, it was something that the club was very much talking about, that we wanted Portman Road to be one of the most entertaining places in the country to come and see football. And I feel like there was a fearlessness to us in wanting to achieve that at that stage. It wasn't just that, there was expectation on us to, especially in League One, that, there was an expectation that we needed to get promoted and had to perform, especially at home. But I feel like we had a confidence about us, we had a swagger about us, and then in the Championship, it was kind of like, we're just going to carry on doing what we're doing. There's nothing to lose. It doesn't matter if we're not controlling games the way we did the season before. We're just going to go at it and believe that no matter what happens, we've still got a chance of getting something towards the end, as we did on so many occasions. And I feel like then when we got in the Premier League, we had that bump back down to earth of just, so every team, it feels better than you. And when you're losing so many points at home, you lose that invincibility. And then coming back down this season, it's still early days, so let's not sort of over egg our home form at the moment. But I think it's one of them things that maybe it's not what we're looking for is not quite the same now. Not necessarily just about, okay, let's be entertaining. It's not necessarily about it's certainly not like it was when we were last in the Championship, of that kind of we're just no expectation on us almost last time we were there. It's totally different now. And I kind of feel like maybe we're looking to control games in a different way. Certainly you would expect us to now compared with where we were last time. And because we haven't quite clicked yet, it's almost like, we're not going to control games in that way that we really want to at the moment, because we haven't got that cohesion about us. And until we do, it's probably still going to be a bit hit and miss. So yeah, the way I see it at the minute, certainly with the way that we've started this season, it kind of feels like that cohesion is the big problem. You look at our squad and you think, it should be better than pretty much every team we play. But I feel like when you don't have that clicking, that cohesion, it's like you can take a percentage off the advantage that you have over anybody, and suddenly all our games start to look a bit more even when you take that out of the equation. So it will come. I'm confident it will come. We'll be all right. Portman Road will get rocking again. But I think at the moment it's almost like, we're reevaluating our identity at home and what people expect of us compared to the last time we were at this level. So it'll come, but yeah, it's just taking time.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's 11 games without a win. I was just quickly adding up the games since the Chelsea game in the league. It's 11 games, but then we haven't won a league game or in general a game for a long while. I think it's 14, something like that, without a win. Ben, what's your feelings with it? You've obviously got a season ticket. You're in the upper north. How are you feeling when you go to games? A match day feel? I'm sure it's still nice going to the Greyhound, chatting with people, catching up, have a few drinks and stuff like that. But yeah, when you get to Portman Road and not seeing a win, it must be a bit deflating. But is there an answer for it?
Yeah, it's not. Don't have an answer. If we did have an answer, I'd have. Well, not that ITFC would pick up the phone to me, but it'd be great to be able to solve that question very quickly. The main thing we've got to do is what Darren talked about, and that team that's coming together and getting that cohesion and that feel at Portman Road again, and making it a very difficult place to come. I do think after last season, we have maybe suffered a slight hangover from not being able to win at home for so long. But when you actually look at it logically, we were playing sides that were far, far better than us. And once you get on that run of not being able to beat sides, and then we played towards the end of the season, we were playing your West Hams, your Wolves, your Brentfords, thinking, we could get 3 points here, we could get 3 points here. We just ended up on such a bad run that we got ourselves so far behind the 8 ball that unfortunately we never got it together. So I don't think there's a huge problem. I think we will make Portman Road a really, strong place for us again. It will just be almost, is it a monkey on our back? I don't know. We were so good at home for the Championship second place finish, for the League One second place finish. Even before then, coming to Portman Road is very difficult to beat us. We had some frustration with some draws, but we didn't lose many games at all in 3 years at Portman Road. So I think the crowd have a big part to play, and I think the fact that it's a Friday night on Sky does us a big favour. You mentioned the Greyhound. There are other fantastic pubs around the town that are going to be very busy Friday after work. If you need a few beers to get yourself singing, to get behind the boys, and have a few extra beers on Friday. Non-alcoholic drinks if you don't need that beer to shout louder. But the crowd is really important. Get the side off to a fast start, and then let's see us go on a run at home. I can see it happening. I'm not too worried about it, Ross.
Nice one. And yeah, Chris has said it in the comments here. Personally think as soon as we get our first win, it'll kick us on and get the place buzzing again, which I think is very true. I think we just need a good positive result, and then hopefully we can, Ben's predicted a good run in September, which is good. Gavin, good evening, my friend. I know you're a normal, regular listener. You're just jumping in now. Let us know your thoughts, your predictions for September, and also the Portman Road hoodoo. And boys, Sheffield United are in town, which is sort of predicted already. But it's discussion time in terms about the team, because that is the big talking point going into this game, because obviously Sammy Smollick's injury, we'll find out a bit more in Kieran McKenna's press conference tomorrow about how serious that is. But there's been a few comments actually, which I've bookmarked. Ben's live here. Forgive me my spelling of his name, Wally. Obviously Sindre Wally Igeli. I think that's better than nothing. The Norwegian wonder kid, who of course has done very well for the under-21s for Norway during the international break, was it last night, Tuesday, where he got 2 assists and got a very good goal indeed. Reckon we could see him get a few minutes Friday and start in October, November running. Excited for him. So yeah, Dazza. I'm sure he's going to be training tomorrow, and I'm sure he will be available on Friday. Could McKenna start him from the off? What's your thoughts on
that? We know McKenna doesn't tend to, does he? When these new lads come in, it tends to be off the bench that they get that first appearance. I mean, I must admit that as soon as we were linked with this guy, that it felt like one of the most exciting targets of the summer. And I do think it is our most interesting signing of the summer, as much as, you know, a lot of the outside punditry has been talking about Nunes and all this, but I feel like this is the most exciting, most exciting addition. It's unknown quantity to some degree, but so much potential. Obviously, there's, because it's Norway, it's going to be that Haaland talk and all that. But I think it's just something really exciting, and we've splashed the cash as a real kind of, you feel like an investment, hopefully, that we're really going to develop and is going to serve us, well for the years to come, hopefully. I would hope that he gets a good outing, and seeing his involvement in the game the other night, the assist that he was providing in his goal was brilliantly taken. I would love to see him. I would love to see him involved. I don't know if it's that his best position is on the right, or I'm not sure if he was starting sort of almost in the central position for Norway. But I'd just like to see us give him some minutes, hopefully, and just because that's going to get the crowd going. You can be sure of that.
Yeah, he's got the number 8 on his shirt as well, which I know for some people he should be wearing that because he's a winger, but I do not care. But Paul, basically same question: will McKenna play the Wonder Boy Egeli on Friday? Looks match ready based on the internationals. Ben, sort of same question to you. You excited to see him play? And could McKenna start him from the off? And then we'll look at the 4-11 after that.
Yeah, like Darren said, I think most Town fans will be most excited of all the signings. He was the standout name. It's always exciting to see someone of his pedigree with his age group record through Norwegian age groups, the 14s, 15s, 16s, 17s, 18s, 19s, now the 21s. I know he's been sort of matching a few of Haaland's records, which sounds outstanding, but don't want to get too excited too soon. He's coming into a brand new country, brand new league, new players, new friends to meet, settling in. It does take a while. He's only human. He does look a great prospect. I think, like Darren said, I think McKenna will do a lot like we did with Amari first time in the Championship. There's a lot of dipping in and out. Started the odd game here and there, but certainly used him from the bench more often. So I would be absolutely amazed if he started Friday night. If he does, that's a great sign that McKenna has his trust and believes that he is ready. So that'll be amazing for all Town fans to see his name on the team sheet. But I think he'll have a role off the bench. Hopefully, maybe in a capacity where we're 2 or 3 up and he can really enjoy himself and show off his skills. But really excited by the signing. But I can't see him starting Friday night.
Okay, then we shall see. Quick comment here from Chris. No, not that one. Stephen, sorry. Sindra on the right, Clark on the left for me, which I think hopefully could be the future of this team. But let's go, back to front. Alex Palmer in goal, but there's a debate there. There's been a few little conversations in the fan base about, Christian Walton maybe thinking, maybe he's had a few mistakes. What's your thoughts, Darren, on Alex Palmer?
I think we will. I think there was a little bit last season when Palmer first came in and he had that game against Aston Villa. There was almost a little bit of overexcitement, wasn't there? Because it was kind of like we were so unsure about who we were putting between the sticks, and then suddenly he came in and had this great debut. But I feel like I feel like with Palmer and Walton, we're probably, there's not a huge amount of difference. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like Palmer's probably got it for the foreseeable. We really do need a clean sheet, because I think that's, everybody's becoming acutely aware of that record at the moment. But I would still stick with him at the moment. I very much hope that Walton does stick around with the club, and we do give him some minutes, because he's been a great servant to us and a great part of the ride. It was really good that Walton did get minutes in the Premier League. After all that, but I think it's still Palmer's to lose at the moment.
Your thoughts, Ben, on that situation?
Yeah, quite boring really, but I can't see Alex Palmer not being the goalkeeper on Friday, unless he makes a couple of howlers. I imagine he'll be a goalkeeper all season. That maybe doesn't suit the way that we like to play out from the back, and I think he's definitely got better at that since he's joined. And whoever's in goal is always going to give the fans a few nervous moments. That is the life of a goalkeeper, and I actually think he's pretty solid, isn't he, overall? I know we like to have a moan, and moaning at goalkeepers is a very easy thing to do, but overall I like to see consistency in selection, particularly at the back, and that includes the goalkeeper. So yeah, Palmer in goal for me.
Definitely. And yeah, Trevor's gone. What goals have actually been Palmer's fault? Which is true. I don't think there's anything on top of my head. I know he's had a few little clearances that have been a bit like, oh, where's he gone with that? But deep down, I don't think there's been too, maybe, I don't know, near posts. It's an interesting question, Trevor, but there's nothing out there that stands out for me. It's not one like, sadly with Muric and stuff. There was definitely ones you go, that was his fault. But yeah, I think definitely Palmer for me. I'm going to bring up the last 11 against Derby, and we can sort of run through the team and go, okay, where we're going to go with it. So right back, Ashley Young, of course, started. Do you think that's his spot now? Dazza, do you think that is his position that he'll keep?
I don't know if it's necessarily his spot, because I would be interested to know how many minutes we really envisaged on giving him this season. I mean, obviously he made it clear that he wasn't coming to, just be a coach or whatever. It was very much a case that he was coming to play, and based on how many minutes he got last season, absolutely right. So he should. I would like to see us use him as the sort of probably lead option there, because just the experience and the delivery that he can offer, that kind of thing. I feel like it would be good to make the most of him, because let's face it, he's here for this year. He's going to be 41 next year. Is he really? Are we really going to get any more out of him? Are we going to let him stay on that basis? So I think we need to be using him. And I got the impression that we're trying to probably move on Johnson beforehand and everything. So I feel like really it probably should be Ashley moving forward.
Definitely. And then we're going to segue into defensive unit. Dara O'Shea, of course, the skipper, and Jacob Greaves. I think that's their positions at the moment. Although it sounded like Dara O'Shea, bless him, didn't have a good time against Armenia, when I was doing a bit of a just sort of, when you sort of put a player name on search on Twitter X. And there was a lot of slack from Irish fans. Obviously, you're married to an Irish woman. I don't know if she follows Irish football much, but obviously she's probably got family members. But it sounded like he didn't have a good game.
I don't think any of them played well last night, Ross. It was one of the worst results, if not the worst result in Irish football history. So even, Collins, who's Brentford's captain, he's Ireland's captain. He was absolutely terrible as well. So I'm not bothered about Dara's form for Ireland. I wish Ireland all the best, and I hope they get to the World Cup. I don't think they will. I'm bothered about Dara O'Shea's form for Ipswich Town, which overall has been very solid. Obviously, that slight gaff against Derby, where he took the ball down on his chest and gave away the ball, but you're going to get the odd mistake as a centre half. I do think at times, particularly the Derby goal, I think we should have been around on the cover a little bit quicker. But O'Shea and Greaves are going to be our centre halves moving forward. The Wolfenden debate is over. He's left the club. Let's move on. Let's put that to bed. We've got a new start. We've got to get behind the team. I personally think Dara O'Shea is a fantastic centre half, and I think he'll grow into be a fantastic captain for this club. O'Shea and Greaves for me. There's no argument. There's no real discussion there for now.
Yeah, I know Chris has put in the comments, should have kept Wolfie and Burgess, but Chris, they both wanted to move. They wanted to obviously play regular football. I would have liked Wolfie and Burgess to start maybe a bit more, but at the end of the day, McKenna's decided, they spent a lot of money on O'Shea and Jacob Greaves, so we've got to just back them and hope they do well. Trevor's gone.
Just on that, Ross, I completely understand why fans would want it that way around, but my take on it is usually the case of two things. We spent an awful lot of money on these two players, rightly or wrongly, O'Shea and Greaves, so there's that point. They'll probably go for money. I'd have thought a decent amount of money, more than Burgess Wolfenden have done. But also, if we've got any faith in this manager, he's going to know footballers more than we do. He has a plan. Wolfenden and Burgess weren't in it to start. He wanted to keep them, and as you said, they did want to leave. They didn't want to hang around and fight for their place. So we don't want players like that at this club. I wish them all the best. They were brilliant for us, but it's time to move on.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Burgess, he got a longer-term deal at Swansea. So, but it's just going to be weird when we come up against them, because obviously they're part of that sort of great team. Trevor's gone here, Darren, for you quickly. Kit Bray, obviously a loan signing this summer. Big Cedric. Could he get a start? When do you think he will get involved? Because I'm sure there'll be a time where he'll be thinking, I'm on loan here. I do want to play some minutes. Even his loan club may go, well, he hasn't played many games. Obviously, he played in the Cup, but he may have to wait his moment. But when will that be?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. But I mean, like Ben says, I can't really see O'Shea and Greaves being split. If nothing else, we need to nail down this centre-back pairing. We've really struggled to be settled in defence for the last year. Obviously there's complications in that from being in the Premier League and having the disruption of losing players this summer. But now we've just got to decide on a centre back pairing. We need to let those guys bed in. And as far as I'm concerned, it is these two. It's difficult because I think ultimately bringing in somebody like Kipri was probably more about having that cover. I don't know. I don't know much about him as to sort of. Whether we'd be considered to be, the same sort of standard as Greaves and O'Shea, I don't honestly know. But I think those two are obviously the first pick there. And unless we've got a game where, we want to give one of those two a rest at some point, looking at the next month, unless we're confident about the Portsmouth game or something, I don't really see it at the moment. So no, probably not.
And Trevor's gone. We also need to keep clean sheets, which is very true. And do you know what? I think when we do get that clean sheet, I think that'll bring a lot of confidence out of that, back four and even Alex Palmer. Because there has been they're just lacking a bit of confidence. Obviously, last year getting beaten every week and conceding goals. I think just a nice clean sheet and a good win will just give a lot of confidence to this team, which will be very good. Leif Davis left back, sort of segue into that. That's his position, isn't it? And then the midfield two. Azor Masasiwa, Eustace, who looked class, didn't they, against Derby? They're going to be the two. Easy discussion. Won't even discuss that, boys. But it's more about the forward line. George Hurst up front, but then it's right, 10, and the left. Ben, what do you reckon on the right? Obviously, Casey McAteer has been the man. Obviously, started against Derby. He's obviously been on international break with Ireland as well. Do you think he'll start this one or... Yeah, I know you were sort of discussed it earlier, but obviously some people will be pushing, get the Norwegian lad in, but he obviously hasn't trained with the group much. But Casey McAteer has, and he has been playing.
Yeah, I think for the way McKenna plays and usually sets us up, McAteer will play right wing, or there's always kind of a hybrid role. We haven't seen that as much yet this year. It's not like Ashley Young is gonna tuck in and act almost like a third centre half like Twanzebe used to, but. I think McAteer, with the way that he, has his forward running and trying to get behind the left back, and he's still learning that role. I can't see that we're going to change it. I expect him to start on the right. On the left, it's more up for debate. Of course, we've got a straight choice. I see it as between Clark and Philogene. I know Philogene is really flattered to deceive. He hasn't really hit the ground running at all. Even when he got that brace at Old Trafford, that was probably the most unusual 2 goals you're going to see a player score, a complete tapping and a cross that goes in the far corner. So he's got a lot to prove, a point to prove, but so is Jack Clark. I have always preferred Clark. I just like the way he is as a footballer. I like the way that he just looks a bit busier, just a little bit more desire there, and as a crowd and a home game that can get you a little bit more, a bit more encouragement and keep the crowd up. Philogene just looks a little bit more nervous in possession. The way he just constantly goes back a little bit more when we're yelling at him to try and take on his man, or at least play a forward pass, a give and a go. So I'd actually go with Jack Clark in this one, and we don't know about Sami Smodic's fitness, so the number 10 role could very much go to Tuba. He's probably got his fitness now. He's been obviously international break-wise, been back at town at Playford Road, so I think Akpom will come in at the 10. So I'd be having Clark on the left, Akpom in the 10, and McAteer on the right. Okay,
then Callum here has gone. Philogene stays on the left for me. I think he's been okay. Some of the criticism has been overblown, in my opinion. Do you agree with that, Dazza, in terms of his sort of criticism for Philogene? And what are you doing with that forward three behind the striker?
Let's be honest, both Philogene and Clark have had a lot of criticism thrown their way and probably been harsh on both of them to some degree. Yeah, okay, we paid a lot of money for both of them. Yes, okay, they've not exactly, done great since they started here, but it doesn't help that both of them have occasionally been played out of position. I think the right is an interesting one. Probably as Ben says, McAteer probably starts, especially given the situation with the upcoming game that Wallet Egali, however we're pronouncing it, we'll get this right eventually. I think probably at the moment it's a bit too early for him. Hopefully, we might see if he's got the potential to take that place in future. Probably McAteer starts that side at the moment, and we'll bring on the other lad later. Yeah, the left is a difficult one. Part of me almost kind of wonders. I may be putting too much stock in what we saw in pre-season, but it felt like maybe we were trying to get something going with Davies and Philogene in pre-season. That there was probably a bit of an understanding developing there, and I don't think we've really seen it in league action so far. But if those two can develop an understanding, it kind of felt like was seeing something there over the summer. Then hopefully it might be worth persisting with that a bit longer. Yeah, it's an interesting one as well with Smodics. As you said, we don't know about his situation with his fitness. I still don't 100% know if Smodics works in that 10 spot for us. It's not quite the same as when he was at Blackburn. And there's always this question of actually he didn't look too bad on times on the left in the Premier League. So I'd always consider him potentially as an option there. But if ultimately Chuba is there to be in that number 10 role, and especially given the doubts over Sammy at the moment, I think he's got to be in that position. So at the minute, I would probably say Philogene, Chuba, and McAteer.
Okay, then. Chris, Jade on the left, Clark on the right, Chuba as number 10, which could be interesting. Clark on the right, which, I don't know, I prefer him on the left, really. My hot take, though, boys, bit left field choice here. Maybe Sindre does start, but plays as a 10. Just, because he can play there, but that's just my hot take, left field choice. I don't know if McKenna will do that, but that's just me sort of getting involved. But no, I think McAteer probably may start again. And then I think we'll go with Jack Clark on the left and Drew Pom as the 10. But hot take, maybe the Norwegian wonder kid will start and as a 10 and maybe score in this game as well, which would be very nice indeed. But yeah, boys, any other business for the Sheffield United game and the starting 11? The subs bench is going to look, good squad depth again, which is good. Ivan Azon, I'm looking forward to see him in action once again. Hopefully he can battle with George Hurst. And once again, George Hurst, he will have to be looking behind his shoulder, because if Ivan Azon keeps sort of pressing off the bench, Kenna may have to think, maybe I have to start this Spanish lad. What do you reckon, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, Hurst has got competition there now. We've seen apparently that Egley can play there as well. We're still Hurst is going to be the number one striker for Ipswich Town for at least the next 5 or 6 games. He'd have to go the next 5 or 6 games without scoring at all to be close to getting dropped, I think. But from what briefly I've seen of Azon when he came on against Derby, he really threw himself about. He could really become a fan's favourite. It's exciting, getting these players from elsewhere in Europe and abroad is very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing him make an impact when he comes on. Hopefully, again, like I said about Egley coming on, it will be with 15-20 minutes to go to give Hurst his break when we're 2 or 3-0 up. That would be fantastic. And the more minutes he gets, the more he gets used to English football will be great. But he looks, as I say, combative. He looks like he's going to throw himself about. So that suits the Championship. And but he's probably the second most sort of exciting signing that we've got. Obviously, Custer and Matasi, where they'll be obviously bossing it in the midfield. So we've just got to build from that platform. And let's book George in for a goal on Friday, Ross, and it won't be a conversation. Let's get Hurst up and away with a good bouncing header at the far post.
Definitely. And obviously, former Sheffield Wednesday youth graduate, obviously his dad's legend there. So, I'm sure he wants to get a goal against them. Quick question here from Chris. Would love Tudor Mendel to get a chance in the first team who looks special, which is very true, Chris. He has looked very lively for the under-21s, but that's a whole different ball game. I do cover the under-21s on a regular basis, and is a whole just different game. I think he needs to go out on loan. I was a bit, surprised he maybe didn't go to League Two club on loan, but obviously the under-21s are now in the Category 1 status, now playing in the sort of top tier of academy football, so they'll be playing against better teams this season. He's obviously had a really good start for the under-21s this season, but I don't think he'll be anywhere near the first team just yet. But maybe he needs to go out on loan, play some proper men's football, and we can see. But once again, you can do well in under-21s football, but then the step up to the first team in Championship, it's big. So we shall see. But it has been a while, hasn't it, though, boys, to see a youth player come through. I know he's gone a different route because he was obviously at Chelsea, went to Belgium, then came to us. So I don't know if that counts as a youth graduate. It probably doesn't, because I think we spent a bit of money on him. It wasn't like loads of money, but it's not like a Cameron Humphreys or a player like that. But yeah, it's been a while. What's your thoughts on that, Dazza, as we sort of look ahead to obviously going into the strike battle of you guys getting the crown? But how are you feeling about, Town? They're Category 1 now, which is great. But it's been a while since we've seen a player come through the youth ranks.
Yeah, and it's just such a difficult one with where we are, the expectation on us, what we really need to try and push to achieve this season. When you think about, Cam Humphreys, Elkan Baggott, they've been knocking around the first team for a few years, and they're probably not going to get a look in at the moment, because if we're really serious about pushing for Automatic's title, which I know at the moment, to be honest, we need to rein that talk in a bit if we're going to carry on like this. But I think, if we are really serious about being up there, then it's a bit too much of a risk at the moment to be putting in players who were that untested. If it's debatable about like Humphreys and Baggott, then it's even more debatable about anyone who's got less experience than that. So as much as we want to see the pipeline continuing, especially because we lost the likes of Wolfie and obviously Harry Clark's not getting much of a look in these days. We want that sort of that feeling of we're bringing people through, especially if we've got lads from the local sort of area. But yeah, I just think at the moment it's too much of a risk. It's too much of a risk.
Yeah, very much so. And there's many teams in the Championship. You don't really see a lot of youth graduates. So I'll have to look at, actually, maybe that's a piece for the future, a written piece I can put together, youth graduates from each Championship team, and see how many players are in their squads. And also check out a little plug of a recent article I did with looking at the Ipswich Town born players through the years. I found 28 in total. There's a few people made comments about Roger Osborne. He was born in Westerfield, but that's not Ipswich. I know it's like a village near Ipswich, but it doesn't count because Ipswich born players. So, and I think someone mentioned Ted Phillips as well, Sexmundham. It's Sexmundham, so it's not Ipswich. But yeah, check that out anyway. But yeah, boys. Ben, you got any other thoughts on that, on the academy quickly? It's always good to see one of your own play, but in the situation we're in at the moment, we need to get up. We need to obviously, sort of be up there in the promotion race. So, bringing in untested players is always a risk.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for the club. It's where you need to be if you want to be taken seriously on the sort of football map, particularly in this country. Unfortunately, academies are turning into businesses more than players to come and play for the first team. If you have a decent academy player, usually they're being sold to a Championship team if you're in the Premier League, or they're being sent out to one of the European teams. They'll come back for a pre-season and then they'll go to a lesser Premier League side. So from Ipswich's point of view, it is vital that we're Category 1. How many players will get through to then come to the first team is minimal. Probably single figures over the next 10 years, realistically. But it's important to have it, even from a business like churn of players. Even if you're getting 500 grand here and there, compensation fees, etc., then you are developing your own players to then hopefully make a profit on. Football's gone that way. It's horrible. I don't like talking about it, but that it is vital as another revenue stream for the club.
Indeed. So there we go. Well then, boys, let's end the fan social as we always do. With the strike, Harvey won it last week. I'm making note of all the winners this season, and maybe we'll do an end of season of all the winners, or maybe not every winner, because that'll be a lot of shows and a lot of winners, but we'll see what we can do. But yeah, Dazza, Ben, we've got 5 questions plus a tiebreaker. Get involved in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know how you get on, and they're all linked to birthdays this week, former players. So we've got 5 players who are celebrating birthdays this week, and we've got a tiebreaker if needed. So question 1 is on Keith Andrews, the Irishman, who's now the Brentford manager, which still blows my mind. But yes, he had a loan spell, doesn't he? Back in, let me quickly bring it up, back in 2011, and he scored 9 goals in 20 games. That isn't the question, obviously, because I wouldn't mention that. But what squad number did Keith Andrews wear during his loan spell at Town? Was it 15, 18, or 25? I'm sure the squad numbers lovers out there will be shouting the answer to the rooftops. I don't know if you boys really care about squad numbers, but yeah, he obviously had a really good loan spell from Blackburn back in 2011. Once again, it's like never fall in love with a lone player. I remember I was a kid. I think I was 15. I just loved him because he just kept scoring goals. And then I found out, oh, he's a lone player. I was like, oh, boo. But yeah, Keith Andrews, now the Brentford manager in the Premier League, his first ever job. It's a risk, but we shall see. But yeah, boys, what do you reckon? 15, 18, or 25?
I've gone 15.
I've gone 15 as well.
15, and you are both correct. So a point on the board for Ben and Dazza. Question 2 is on, I was about to say his country there, but I stopped myself because that is the question. Adrian Paz celebrated his birthday yesterday. He was 58. And also Keith Andrews, his birthday is on Saturday. It'll be 45, if you're asking. But yeah, Adrian Paz yesterday turned 58. And Adrian Paz was from which country? Or is really, because he's not dead, he's still alive. It's from which South American country? Argentina, Peru, or Uruguay? Adrian Paz, of course, part of the Torrico deal. Obviously, Torrico had a very good spell at Town. Adrian Paz, the one goal he scored. And if you're watching, I've been trying to reach out. I want to get Adrian on the podcast. I'm still trying to get him on the podcast. So it'll just be a good little interesting chat, won't it? So leave it with me, boys and girls. I'm going to try to get Adrian Paz on the podcast at some stage. But is he from Argentina, Peru, or Uruguay, boys? What do you reckon?
I think he's from Uruguay, Ross.
I've got Uruguay. I think it's a little bit before my time, but if that rings a bell.
Yeah, you are both correct. It is Uruguay. And Trevor's in the comments gone Uruguay as well. Question 3 is on a current player, and that is Jacob Greaves. And he actually celebrates his birthday on Friday for the Sheffield United game. So really, for predictions, we should sort of put a goal on him. You know, birthday boy scores. Hopefully he can get a nice clean sheet. Hopefully he can get a win. Hopefully he can get a triple. Be good for Jacob Greaves. But yes, he had a loan spell in his career when he was at Hull City. At which League 2 club? Was it Cheltenham Town, Port Vale, or Walsall? So Jacob Greaves, back as a young lad at Hull City, went out on loan to League 2. Jacob Greaves, how old is he going to be this Friday? Let me quickly take a look. Still a young lad, of course, Jacob Greaves. Born in 2000, so he's 25 on Friday. Big 2-5. Loan to Cheltenham Town, Port Vale, or Walsall, boys. What do you reckon?
This is a complete guess from me, if I'm honest. So. I've gone Walsall.
Walsall.
Complete guess, so I'm glad we're different because I've gone Cheltenham.
Oh, Cheltenham Town. And if you know your loan players this season, we've got 2 youngsters out on loan at Cheltenham. Jacob, the defender for the under-21s, Mazinos, Lithuanian international, and Tommy Taylor, who's the under-21 skipper as well. And that sort of segues nicely because it is Cheltenham Town, Ben. Jack Greaves had a loan spell at Cheltenham Town. So sorry, Dazzler. Ben took the lead. It's 3-2. Going into question 4 is on, I think, Ben Diaz's favourite player in the current era. He's not obviously here anymore, sadly, but it is Sam Morsy, who celebrates his birthday today. So happy birthday, Sam, the Egyptian king. 34 today. He played 165 games for the club. How many goals did he score in those amount of games? So Sam Morsy, of course, some notable goals that stand out. Obviously, last season, the Southampton late equaliser, the Watford late goal. That's 2 off the top of my head. I won't mention any others. How many goals, boys? 165 games. Obviously, he wasn't known for being prolific as a midfielder. He was more known for yellow cards. Sam Morsy, the Egyptian king, 34 today. What do you reckon then, boys? So this is a double pointer as well, Dazza. So you could take the lead if you get it bang on. But the closest to the correct answer gets the point. But then Ben could go 5, 2 up. But we shall see. But what do you reckon then, boys?
Trying to think in my head of how many times I could remember a definite Sam Morsy goal. I'm not certain, so I've just gone with 12.
12, good number.
I've gone lower. I've gone 9.
Oh, 9. Because I remember He was obviously part of the League One team in 2021, obviously when we didn't go up, then 2022, the promotion year, then the Championship, and then the Premier League. So 165 games, and you're so close, Dazza. It's 11 goals for Sam Morsey. But you do get the points. You are the closest. So it is 3-3 going into the final question. And it's on Burson Selena, who is from Kosovo, of course. That isn't the question. But he's currently playing in which country? Is it Norway, Sweden, or Switzerland? So, of course, was on loan from the French club Dijon back in 2011-22 season. Then went to Turkey and then Stoke. And then is obviously now in the country there, is now on loan at this. No, he's actually no, they're permanently now, Burson Selena, because he's obviously on loan there for the French club, but he signed permanently in 2024. But yeah, which country is he currently playing in, boys? Norway, Sweden, or Switzerland?
Honestly, I have no idea. So
I've gone for the middle one.
Oh right, we've both.
There you go.
Sweden, all the Japanese.
And you are correct. It is Sweden. So it's 4-4. So a tiebreaker is needed to separate you boys to become crowns of the strike this week. And it's of course for the Sheffield United game, because I had to have a question linking up to the game this week. For this Friday. And now, how many times have we beat Sheffield United at Portman Road in 36 meetings? So normally the tiebreaker is just, the strike champion has sort of gambled, but this time around it is, the closest. Normally you have to get it bang on to take the crown, but no, the closest out of you two will win this week's strike. And how many times have we beat Sheffield United at Portman Road in 36 meetings? And funny enough, the last time we played Sheffield United, I think we drew. So that's one game. I think Ellis Harrison scored in that game. I think that's the last time we had a Portman Road game against Sheffield United. It's been a while. And I think there's a longer gap for that as well. I think it was 2011 was then the next time we played them in the league fixture. Right then, boys. 36 games. How many times will we beaten Sheffield United at Portman Road? Daz, I'll start with you. What do you reckon?
I'd like to think we slightly edge it. So if we maybe say there's, maybe like 8 draws or something in there, I'm just going to, I'm chucking a random number. So I'm just saying 14.
14, okay. Ben?
I've gone way above that, so this could be very interesting. I've got 23 victories.
23 victories. Okay, then. Well, I'm going to start with the defeats. We've only ever lost 5 games against Sheffield United at Portman Road, but we're drawn 16 times, and we're beating them 15 times.
Oh,
so Dazza could have got it bang on, but Dazza has won the strike this week. So that is incredible from you, Dazza. So close to getting the correct answer. But you are the strike champion, my friend. You sort of now bring us for the outro and your speech as we end the latest fan social.
Marvelous. I haven't got a clue what to say other than I posted on Twitter before this. I said if anybody wants to see me lose a quiz, then please tune in. So that's gone out the window. But yes, a winning feeling is good. So can we keep the winning feeling going this week? That's a seamless segue there, Ross. Come on, you got to give me that.
Definitely, my friend, yes.
I'm not going to do any better than that. So yeah, I'll have to sign off with that.
Top man, thanks for joining us. Callum, who's normally pretty good at the strike, he went 2 out of 5, which it's not good for you, Callum. Although maybe there's some trickier ones because there was potentially 2 players before your time. Actually, no, only 1 player. It'd only be Adrian Pad. The rest, you were alive and you probably watched Town play. But do not worry. But Ben, so close, my friend. Got to the tiebreaker, but you backed the boys, getting too many wins against Sheffield United. But that's not a bad record, though. If you really think about it, against Sheffield United at home, 15 wins, 16 draws, only 5 defeats. But thanks for joining me, my friend. Any other business?
No, I just really remembered the 3-2 game, which everybody remembers when we won, and also the 5-1 game, which I think was on a Tuesday night when we battered them. 2 fond memories of watching Town. I really enjoyed the strike as my fellow September boys that we discussed, because it's actually my birthday next week, which is the reason why I'm not there on Friday. I'm going away for my birthday because I'm turning an age which you're meant to celebrate. So I'm doing that. Sorry, I won't be there.
That's right, my friend. No, happy birthday. I'll have to get a strike question for next week for Ben's birthday. So I'll have to ask you from stats and some figures. You mentioned as well about your voice got sort of recognised at cricket. Do you want to quickly give a shout out to that fella who potentially could be listening?
Yeah, it's a very nice gentleman over at Horseheath Cricket Club in Cambridgeshire. They beat us as well, which wasn't great, but he was incredibly friendly. And yeah, he said apparently you could hear I was captain for the day at my local club because our usual captain couldn't do it. And yes, he said he recognised my voice and then put two and two together. It must be Ben from the Kings of Anglia podcast, which was very kind. He had lots of nice things to say about you, Ross. So and the rest of the team. So yeah, it was a nice afternoon, apart from not winning the cricket. But it just shows you, Kings of Anglia is every corner of the country.
Definitely. I loved your message as well. The podcast has no boundaries, unlike cricket, which is fantastic. I like that. That was very good indeed. But yeah, thanks for joining me, Dazza and Ben, for the latest Kings of Anglia Fan Social. Thanks to everyone else for listening as well. And Chris went 17 wins on Friday against Sheffield United at Portman Road, which is hopefully going to be the case under lights. If you are going to the game, enjoy it. If not, follow Culture Us as standard. We'll be there. Of course, shout out to our sponsors, Stardust Spirits. Use the code KOA. You get 20% off for all your spirits needs and all that jazz. And then the other sponsor, bear with me, Molecular. No, I don't know why. I just can't get it. My tongue in my mouth just can't say it. But Ben, Darren, can you say it for me?
Molecular.
That's the one. Dazza, can you say it just to hear from another voice?
Molecular.
Molecular. I don't know. It's just every time I get to the end.
Just go Mo le. Go on.
Mo
le.
Lec.
Killer.
Molecular.
Molecular.
I'll nail it by the end of the season. And maybe they'll probably listen to this. Bloody hell, we're going to stop sponsoring this podcast because someone can't say our company's name. But check them out. Two local businesses. They've got a code KOA10 at their checkout. So check both of them out. Really good local companies. And Chris, Kings of Anglia, is in Tenerife as well. Love that, Chris. Enjoy your time in Tenerife. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining us for another Kings of Anglia Fan Social. We'll be live every Wednesday night, so make sure to join us for future shows. But yeah, follow us on all our socials, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.